Oh, wait, me?
One step
Me?
at a time.
Huh?
Oh wait, was that Stardust? Sorry, I wasn't watching the thing. Is that you, Stardust?
Wow, you're just mixing us up. Okay, alright.
Same
I
thing.
thought 5 minutes ago I'm not even a woman, and now you're mixing us up.
Well, you know, just all the dad penis talk, and I'm just kind of...
Wait,
Careful.
Fnatic wants to get in, send him an invite.
Careful, Dan, I might start stalking you next.
Dan, you ever seen your dad's dick?
I think when I was younger, once.
Yeah, definitely. See, you're not a fucking liar.
You think
you're not a
that's
fucking liar.
That's not something
like,
you forget.
Anna, Groypers are.
You know, you don't forget it because it's like you're like it fucks you up a little bit.
Anna, have you
I
seen
don't think it
Cutie?
fucks you up. It's just like a date, you know, it's just part of life, you know. I saw it once.
Have you seen Cutie?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Chud?
What?
I know what.
Okay, mate. Okay.
He's a one-trick pony.
Oh, I'm not interested in talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the edgelord stuff?
Can
What about it?
Is there a level of edgelordiness that you are okay with, and can you describe what level that is and how far over the line you feel like going?
You do say a lot of inflammatory things, yeah. I also kind of feel like you're acting like maybe a little bit of a bully with like the whole Dr. K stuff too. Because you really want him to like lose his license, and I don't think that's right.
Okay, so there's a new topic. I don't think this is why you banned me from your chat, but do you want to give your
What
take
do
on
you
it?
think? What do you think the reasons are?
Just what you said.
Yeah, I forgot. Like, there's also the Dr. K stuff that kind of upset me too.
Would that alone have gotten you a chat ban, or is it like?
No, it's like everything, and also the fact that like there's a lot of people that are really triggered by you. I know that sounds bad, but
You gotta protect your chat from it. Okay, Dr. K. You wanna give your Dr. K
Don't forget about Fnatic.
Tell him to get in a non-waiting. I think is he in the waiting room? Tell him to get in any voice chat.
well, I mean, you know that ethics boards are not in the practice of like just immediately revoking a license, even after like one overstep. Or like first offense, rather.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the severity or the immediacy? I feel like you're bringing up two issues.
What do you mean?
You said they're not in the habit of immediately bringing up. Like, he's done over 150 or maybe 140 of these interviews. So if each one is an overstep,
I mean like a first offense. I mean like a first offense type thing.
Even
like
if you're doing 100 offenses at the same time, I would think that they would probably react more harshly than to just one positive.
yeah, maybe, but usually it's very rare that they revoke a license the first time that you are presented. You have to go in front of an ethics board.
Well, the important thing to ask, sorry, Mr. Gers, your perception. What are you basing that on?
My perception, or
Your perception about what the ethics board are going to do. Like, where does that come from?
I think some of it comes from the emotional responses of people I know. Wait, did you tell Fnatic to get in the voice chat? Because I don't think.
Yeah, I've sent him the link to the Discord. I don't know if he's ignoring my messages or what's going on.
He might be in the waiting room. I don't know how to phone him. Okay. So tell him to get in a different voice chat if you want to. I know you're not my secretary. I just don't know how to handle it.
It's okay. I'll listen. I owe you one. Okay, so it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, emotional responses from professionals that I've talked to, my own 4 or 5 emotional response, and then feel like I told that story earlier about a doctor whose license was reprimanded because he allowed a patient to email him a non-sexual picture of herself and didn't reply back to her telling her not to do that. So my sense is that they're very strict about this kind of relationship boundaries. So if they perceive these people to be his patients or semi-patients or just to be quasi-therapy, and there's 100 of them, and he's on video saying he knows he shouldn't be doing it, I would think that could get a pretty decent response. Mr. Fanatic?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I'm doing quite well.
Welcome to my
Good,
The real panel.
you say so.
the late show.
So, bro, what happened? You didn't want the content, it seems.
No, I didn't. I feel like I really tried my best to like completely like explain to you that like the goal of that panel is not necessarily like blood sports or any of that. I really want the conversation to be fluid. Not that I'm aware of like how blood sports goes and all that stuff. I've obviously done it. I did like over a year still in crimes game. But I really do want conversations. And sometimes I feel like the blood sport, not sometimes, most of the time blood sports gets in the way of that. I was hoping there could be real conversation. And it
But then
seemed
why
like
would
that just
you-
wasn't agreeable to me.
Why would you invite a bunch of fucking assholes to be on the show if you want a real conversation?
Now you're just being rude. Fuck you.
No, it's fine. I think
You're
here's
an
the deal.
asshole.
I think if you really look at it, I think you can see that like while Destiny typically can be like a blood sporty kind of guy, and most of the thing you see him kind of subdue himself in that environment, and I guess it's just a matter of respect or intentionality. I don't know, but in those circumstances, like people kind of change that, and I think a lot of times it's not like that people aren't capable of being decent in most people's cases. I think it's just that normally the environment isn't conducive of that, but they do tend to switch that. And I think,
Okay.
yeah,
Here's the problem, though, right? Doobie is calling me unethical and immoral, and you don't expect me to take that like someone comes up and slaps me around the face, and I go, "Oh yeah, thank you for slapping me around the face." No, if someone's going to say some fucking bullshit, I'm going to get annoyed. I don't, I'm sorry, but I don't care about whatever the fucking rules are. If someone comes to me with that energy, and it's, Doobie wasn't being aggressive in the way he said it, but calling someone immoral is a big slight on someone's character, and I think it's legitimate to get pissed off with that and get a bit fucking, frustrated.
absolutely. And I think frustration sometimes is 100% warranted. And I feel like if you thought that was a personal attack, which I agree with you, it seemed like it was a personal attack. I can see why you wanted to react in a very frustrated way. But I think given the environment, you don't because someone disrespects you in a courtroom, you don't just haul off and shoot a guy, or you don't haul off and whatever. You still need to read the room. And I think if your emotions in that scenario were such that you got so frustrated that you couldn't abide by the rules of the room, that you couldn't contain yourself enough to maintain your decency, then I think in that case, then maybe this is the environment for you. It wasn't like I was trying to side with Doobie or anything like that. It's just, this is an environment, this is what we want. And if that comment was too antagonistic for you to be able to, if that statement was going to be such that it was going to force you to lose your decency in the scenario, then I guess maybe this space wouldn't be for you in that
Well,
scenario.
this is just respectability politics then.
I think you have a sick fetish.
What's the sick fetish?
You're like a nun at a Catholic school who wants to spank the kids, and so you put them in a situation where they're going to be rowdy. The kids who don't get along with each other, there's too many of them. You throw there's 6 kids, and you say, "Oh, we have 4 donuts, only 4 donuts," and you throw them out in the middle of the floor, and then you just get your ruler ready and you just watch and you wait. You wait for the opportunity. That's what I think.
I hear you. That's absolutely not my goal. And I think that really what it boils down to is that there's only a limited amount of people on Twitch, right? And it's again, I don't feel like I had to do a whole lot to contain Destiny in that scenario. I think him having been on the panel before, it's okay, he understands exactly what I'm going for, and just I don't know if maybe it's out of just respect or
He's
whatever.
playing League. He don't give a fucking shit. He's just playing League.
Well, I've witnessed conversations where he's playing League where he's been quite aggressive. If you've played League of Legends
That's
for
'cause
like
he's
lots
losing.
and lots of games like I have, and like anyone else that plays League of Legends, you know how incredibly frustrating that game is, and so how hard it is to contain yourself. Yet, despite him playing League, he was able to contain himself here. So it seemed like it might have been some form of his willpower that caused him to do so. And I think
You're
that
thinking into
will
this
to
way
do
too deeply,
so
bro.
will be based
Doobie,
on his
Let's see
respect.
I think
Let's hear
Doobie
some
wants
shit
to
about
say
this.
something.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I had an issue with impulse control, anger management, and Chud, I think that's the issue. So I can understand being frustrated, getting a little rowdy internally, but when you express that anger, right, I think that's the issue when you express it in the way that you did. So I'm gonna post something in your chat, Chud. Just some tips. You don't need to do them, but I think if you did, they'd be very helpful for you.
I'm not doing any of those tips.
it's in
Let
your
me tell you
chat,
what it
okay?
is. Let me tell you what it is. Now shut the fuck up. Let me tell you what it is, okay? I have spent fucking weeks speaking about this Dr. K fucking pseudoscience shit, right? And at the start, people tried to act like I was crazy. Oh no, he just uses it as like a tool or a lesson or something like that. And then when I started to dig into it, it turned out he was doing a whole bunch of crazy shit, okay? A whole bunch of fucking insane shit. And finally, people started to turn around to the idea that, yeah, this guy's pushing pseudoscience.
You're being
So then I-
gaslit. You're being gaslit.
so then exactly, and then I go onto a panel fucking 3 weeks after the fact. No one's watched any of my content about it, which is fine. You know, I don't think I'm some fucking big deal. But then people ask me questions I've already answered in my content, and they're acting like, oh, you're crazy for getting angry about this. No, I've had to deal with these fucking idiots for weeks, and now I'm on a panel with people, you know, I respect, and I'm getting told I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong. I know that I'm fucking right. That's
Wait,
it.
so here's the deal. The thing was, one, I don't think it's fair for it to hold us to a specific standard or to punish us because of, I guess, the interactions you've had with other people on Twitch.
Who's
One,
punishing you?
well,
What,
you're
me getting
punish-
angry is
you're punish-
punishing you?
You're punishing us by being cantankerous in a space where we've clearly defined what our expectations is, and everyone else seems to be trying to.
You ain't
abide
my
by the
fucking boss.
conversation.
You ain't my fucking
not about
teacher.
being
You ain't my
the boss.
fucking parent. Yes,
I
it
don't think-
fucking is. You said you're gonna
I
kick me
don't
off and
think-
shit. You can get fucked for
don't-
that. I'm not interested.
I don't think it requires me to be your boss to ask you to make an appeal to decency, which is what we did in that
I don't give a shit.
scenario.
about decency.
Okay.
Doobie.
Hi. So Chad, I watch a lot of your content actually. I actually listen to your stream a lot of times when I'm working in the morning. But to lead up to this panel, and I watched Mr. Grove's video. I watched the Slush video, I think it is. I watched Dr. K's ethics video, and then you know, for the last like couple of weeks, I've been watching people's streams and having discussions about it. I watched Destiny's discussion with Mr. Grove about it. Right? I missed it, right? But in the videos that I saw, you know, Mr. Grove's videos, Destiny's video, the Slush video, the Ayurveda thing was brought up and some clips were mentioned, right? But it wasn't at the level that you were claiming it was, right? So I wasn't aware of that. So when you said, "Hey,
But you were
here's
calling
this,"
me immoral for something you haven't even
Wait,
fucking
hold
seen.
on.
Excellent.
Chad, you can't expect me to have every bit of information that's in your brain. I'm
Well,
sorry.
don't call me fucking immoral then, you fucking idiot.
All you had to do, right, you said, hey, actually, Doobie, there's this video series that he put out about Ayurveda, promoting Ayurveda, as healthy gamer, whatever the fuck, and that solved the entire problem. It's very simple.
Okay, well maybe you don't come in calling me fucking immoral when I've not done anything immoral, anything unethical. I've just pointed out what is in fucking Dr. K's content. That's all I've done.
I guess I just want to point out that if you have a rule against aggression in your panel, it could create a situation where people who are particularly good at needling each other kind of rule the world. So like, I think Doobie does not really like come out and just like bark at you, but he's pretty good at getting people to flip out.
I don't think Doobie would disagree with that at all, and I think that's absolutely true. Again, I think some of those things can be addressed, but I do also kind of at the same time think that people can be mature enough to recognize that when someone's needling them, or if it becomes egregious enough, that one, I'm going to step in and kind of stop that behavior. Two, that just because of the fact that you're being needled in that scenario, that like to react in that way, to the like like to me plead over and over again, please, we'll try to reel this back in, but once you kind of set yourself apart, like, no, I don't have to respect that, no, I don't have to be decent. And then he didn't stop at Doobie. He then interrupted Anna when she was talking pretty early on in the panel. He then disrespected me, even though I wasn't doing anything to do that.
Yeah,
So
but
I
what
just-
if you're all-
Disrespected
what if
you.
you guys are all
Fuck
just-
you, fanatic. Fuck you. How's that for disrespect?
What if
Fuck
you're all
you,
just-
Cool,
bitch.
we're not
what
on
if
my
you're all-
panel
what
right
if you're
now,
all
so I don't care.
passive-aggressive? What if you're all just passive aggressive though?
Well, the problem, I guess that's a good hypothetical. Fortunately, I wasn't being passive aggressive. Anna wasn't being passive aggressive. She had kind of barely came
That's
to the
no
conversation.
defense. What
at
if
that
you
point.
are? What if you don't know that you're passive aggressive?
Sure.
But
So
you
in
are?
the situation, no, I'm not. But I'm very aggressive. In the situations in which everyone was being passive aggressive, then I guess if that entire environment was that way, then it would warrant his reaction. Unfortunately, that wasn't the circumstances, so he had no reason to react that way. It seemed really inappropriate.
You're trying to be the fucking boss. I'm not interested. I don't care
Going back
about your
to the
opinion.
spanking.
It was the fanatic panel. I don't know. I guess.
Doobie. Wait, is anybody talking?
No, I think Doobie's microphone is muted.
Yeah, my mic fucked up for a second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, better. Okay, cool. So I think that where it came to a head at the end, right? So I can understand being frustrated to start with me calling you unethical, but when you bring up that Mr. Girl wants to come on, and the fanatic acknowledges that he heard you, right, and says, deal with that in a bit. And I think Fanatic's intentions would be to bring on Miss Girl for the next topic, because we were like in the middle of the one that we were on. And you keep bringing it up, and he keeps telling me, hey, yeah, we'll deal with that later. And you keep bringing it up over and over again. I think at some point you're being disrespectful. You gotta. He's acknowledged what you said.
It was boring. It was
He's
boring.
acknowledged what
Everyone
you
was
said.
bored.
So you just
Everyone was bored.
be a little bit patient. Like, I don't know.
Do you think that boring justifies your disrespect?
Yes, absolutely. I do it
So
again.
then I got you. So then what this obviously exemplifies is that there's just a problem of indecency with you. That obviously that
A
makes it
problem of
compatible.
indecency. A problem of
Absolutely.
indecency. Who fucking
Absolutely.
cares, man? We're on
I
fucking
got you.
Twitch. What are you talking about, bro?
I care, and that's why I had to
fine.
remove you.
That's where they
You didn't
like,
remove
making-
me. I removed myself before you could. Fuck you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's why you needed to be removed from it, and I'm glad that you
That's
did that.
where
So
my
I didn't have
spanking
to.
fetish theory comes in, is that people aren't going to be decent, and then you're asking them to follow rules that.
I've done 5 of these panels, and I've only had to remove 1 person. So obviously, most people can be decent. He's the only person that couldn't thus far.
Dusty.
Too hot for Fnatic panel, obviously. It was bound to happen.
I just wanted to say that I feel like Doobie made a pretty good joke when he was telling Chud Logic to check out these methods because the link that he linked was an Ayurveda link. So
Nice.
You mean the
I
best.
completely ignored it. I wish I clicked it. That's a
He's
good
the
meme,
best.
DB. I'll
He's
give you
the
that
best.
one. That's a good meme.
Thank you for acknowledging my joke. Okay, I really worked hard on that.
That was really good. That was good.
Okay, do you guys
I thought
feel
you were
like
just being
the,
condescending, but no.
Do you think that we've aired out every side of this moderation? I think I've said my piece, certainly.
Absolutely. One last thing I want to say to you, Mr. Girl.
Sure.
Genuinely, I obviously intended to bring you on the panel. I asked you early, like I think around 11 or something.
I know.
Could you be on the panel? It wasn't like I was sitting there, but what I was recognizing was, to me, it felt like Chud Logic. My interpretation of the situation is that Chud Logic was being incessantly disrespectful to the panel and disrespectful to me.
And
so
I
then
think I may have encouraged him to do that.
Okay, and that's very possible. But then
It is.
once he's done that, so then when I finally ask him, like I'm attempting to remove him, but he removed himself, thankfully, because I hate having to do that in any capacity. Once he removed himself, and then you came onto the panel, then it was like, hey, I really wanted you for this conversation. Clearly you were involved. Clearly I watched your video. And so then once you did that, it felt almost like you were tangentially disrespecting me as well, because it almost seemed like you're lumped in with the Chud Logic thing.
I
'cause
was.
You're championing the guy that did the disrespecting
yeah.
me.
At a certain point, I gotta choose my allies, and I chose Chud. And
Sure.
from your point of view, that might not be a very good decision, and I was prepared to live with the consequences of that.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that, and I hope that you don't take that personally. I hope you can understand my reasoning behind why I felt the need to go ahead and move on with the conversation.
I understand that it's strictly business.
Okay, absolutely, man. Well, I wish you the best. I hope there's no hard feelings.
No hard feelings.
Alrighty, man. Peace out.
I appreciate you stopping by.
Yep.
All right, Anna. So edginess. What's the deal? You said there's. certain-
Mike's quiet again. You need to sort your mic out.
Oh shit. Anna, you were talking about edginess.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think is
the whole-
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, the whole cuties review thing. I mean, you really didn't. I mean, you knew that you would get so much backlash from that, right?
Actually,
like, you knew
that's
how
not
you
true.
would be.
You know what?
No?
It's no, because I think it's like a hindsight's 2020 thing.
Oh.
I had said some pretty weird stuff on my channel already at that point.
Yeah.
I said
You've got
some
some
stuff.
weird stuff on your channel that's a little sus, I have to admit, that I didn't like.
I think I'm admitting it right now.
Yeah.
But I didn't get any backlash. Nobody. I was shouting into a void for 4 long years. I've been putting little ships in bottles and tossing them out into outer space in the hopes that they would land on someone's shore, and that was just another one. So I thought I was talking only to my own fans. I didn't know that anybody was going to watch that.
Yeah, that makes sense then. That's understandable why you kind of, yeah. I get that.
You know, I was like, I want to give the most honest review that I can. I've got no pressure on me not to. There's no reason for me to hold back, because I'm not making any money. I don't have any fans. Nobody knows who I am. So I'll just.
Oh.
So I had
Yeah.
1,700 subscribers or something. So I turned on my mic. I sat down. I just let it all out for 2 hours. Oh no, not 2 hours. Maybe half an hour or something. Actually, my ranting was about the same length as my review. I cut out a little bit, left most of it in, and posted it. I was not thinking like, what do I want to say to 500,000 people? It definitely was not. Like,
I actually completely empathize with you now, like even more now that you actually said that, because I've done similar, like I've done like similar things where it's like I've like been streaming and like I just assumed like, yeah, only the 10 people are watching me right now, and then it wasn't that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I get it.
Anything
I
you
actually
say could be-
completely get it. I completely get it, yeah.
My chat is pointing out that I would do the same thing again. I would, but yeah, I would. I would do it all over again if I could.
You would?
Yeah, I'm not saying I regret what I said. I'm just saying that I think that there is a temptation to interpret it as like I said it because I wanted the reaction I got, but that I was just trying to review the fucking movie.
Yeah. There's still some other, like, I mean, obviously this doesn't completely change my, like, my
I'm not expecting
opinion
to
of
change
you.
it.
It's
I just wanted to talk about it because I was interested.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
I tell you what, you make one video where you say a bunch of 10-year-olds are hot, and you get called a pedo.
I know.
That sure says a lot about society.
It really does. People are very unforgiving. Shallow people.
Do you know what it is, right? It's funny how sensitive people are about pedo shit. I mean, who would have thought it?
I think I might make a video about this, like a deep dive.
No, don't do any more about the pedo shit. You've done enough deep diving as it is, okay?
You should
Like,
go
come
the
on, man.
opposite route. You should go about like dudes who chase like older women, but like really older women, you know?
I think I'll do the. I think I'll do
no.
the
Gum
pedophile
jobs
stuff.
and stuff.
Do a
you know?
video how you think the age of consent should be 30. You need to repair your image, bro. I'm telling you, okay?
I think the age of consent should be 17.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
that's pretty reasonable.
Oh,
What's wrong
reasonable.
with that? We're 16 over here. Come over for a holiday, Mr. Girl. You have a fucking great time.
I keep.
Oh my
so I
God.
live in Oregon, but in
It's not
Washington,
even funny.
in Washington, the age
Funny.
of consent is 16, and so I keep proposing to Jimmy. I'm like, what if I did a video where I went on a date? I'm not like no contact, but like, what if I did a video where I went on a date with a 16-year-old? Because it's legal there. And I don't know about the legality of putting that on like YouTube.
Okay,
It
you
is
really
like
want to? You really want to do?
Immediate shutdown every time I propose.
You really want to be Onision? Really? Because this is the shit
No.
Onision has done. Like,
me what-
move to another state to like fuck a 17-year-old because like, oh well, it's legal in that state.
No, I just want to make some social commentary. I don't want to. I don't want to be.
Yeah, I think that actually might be illegal. So in a lot of the states that have like this, the age of consent is 16. It's actually, you know,
Wait, it's not illegal
within
to
like a
go.
certain
It's not
age.
illegal to get ice cream with a 16-year-old.
Yeah, but if you say a date, I mean that there's like an implication there, and I don't know. Again, I don't know like the total like legality of that specific state or whatever the fuck.
Well, let's say,
but, I'm saying if you were to actually have sex with this person, it would.
Well, I'm not talking about
obviously-
having sex. I'm not talking about having sex. I'm talking about doing a social experiment of like, what does it mean that we're saying that this person is like mature enough to enter into a romantic or sexual relationship with like me?
This is why I don't like you.
Okay. Can you be more specific?
The pedophile thing. She doesn't
Yeah, I
do
know.
that.
But Dan, I get why I would like to hear more.
Wait, why would you think that's a good idea to do? Like, people are extremely sensitive about protecting kids, and I'm one of them.
Well, do you
I'm
think
one
the
of
age of
them.
consent in Washington should be raised?
I mean, yeah, it should be 18.
Do you think? Okay, well, but wouldn't that get the conversation started? I think that if you see
And
me,
are you
if you see me, if you're in 4K, forced to watch me have a cappuccino with a 16-year-old, maybe that might inspire you to write the local representatives.
I'm curious. You think the same reaction would happen with like Dan, for example, going on a date with an 18-year-old, right? Like, do we get the same kind of reaction from people?
Or
Well,
a better
weird thing
example. Hold on,
Yeah.
a much better example is like, let's say that you were 32 and you were going on a date with someone who was like 21, or even getting married to that person. Like, think about that.
It's very sus. Yeah.
Shaylin is 10 years younger than me. I was 34 and she was 24 when we met. That was already pretty weird.
Why am I not surprised?
Because you think I'm an
I
abuser.
mean, my dad married my mother when she was 16. And he was 22. So I guess it's like, people are sus sometimes.
Do you know what the research says about relationships where the age gap is 10 years plus?
No.
No, what does it say? I'm actually very interested in it as well.
Yeah, relationships where with age gaps of 10 plus years are twice as likely to be abusive. They also are there's also a heightened, even like, I think it was, it's like, there's like an even, like more chance that they end in divorce. So it's like really it's quite negative. Yeah.
Well, let's try to get to the marriage part before we start foaming.
Well, how old is Destiny? He's like 32 or something, right? How old's Melina? 21?
You know what? I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, I
this
like
is-
Melina. She's
Well, no,
a
I think
I don't
Dan's
want to
sweetheart.
raising
talk about
Dan's
that.
raising a
I
good
don't-
point.
I
though.
don't, I don't
I
want,
mean,
you know what?
Mr.
You know what,
Go,
Anna?
trust me.
I'm gonna. You know what? You banned me from your chat. I'm not gonna platform you talking about that.
Mr. Girl, trust me.
What, me?
This is
Talking about what?
This is the convo we need to have.
No, I don't want
Talking
to.
about what?
I'm not hosting it. If you want to stream.
Oh,
it
you
on
turn into
Twitch,
fanatic. You trying to fucking spank me like a Catholic school person?
Wait,
What's that about?
I'm just confused.
No.
Wait, what did I do? I just said I like
don't wanna
I
get
like
split.
Melina. I get along with Melina.
I don't
We're
want to
fine.
talk. I don't want to talk about Destiny.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either.
Well,
Great.
okay.
Well, great. So let's move on.
We don't have to talk about the personal details of it, but like just okay. Let's imagine there's a streamer, okay? They're absolutely
imagining
terrible at League.
No,
They're
I
absolutely
don't-
terrible
I
at
don't
League.
wanna- I don't
Desperately
wanna
trying to
do
get
it.
into Diamond.
I
They're
don't
called
wanna do it.
Destiny. Okay.
I don't want to do it. However,
I mean, I'm not the one that brought their
that's
relationship
fine.
up.
That's fine. We can talk about my relationship though. Divorce, yeah. Abuse, yeah. I see what you're saying. It's
Yep.
hard when someone's at such a different life stage, but romance, like a romantic relationship, and sex are different.
Okay.
I think there's less of an impetus to abuse somebody if you're having like a one night stand with them than a relationship.
What does this have to do with the age gap thing?
Wait, I'm curious. So, Mr. Girl, earlier you said that when you were talking about this idea, going on a date with a 16-year-old, and I said, hey, well, if you have sex with her, it's still illegal. And you said, oh, well, it's not illegal to go out for ice cream with a 16-year-old.
You want to talk about illegal? Oh, why is it
That's
illegal?
true. No, hold on. No, wait. There's a follow-up thing. So what if when I do it with a 14-year-old? It's probably not illegal to go out with a 14-year-old to get some ice cream, right? So why not do that?
Because I want to, as I often do, bring attention to a gray area where on internet land, the idea of even showing sexual interest in a 16-year-old is punishable by death. You're a pedophile, you're an abuser, you're a groomer, whatever. But I think in half of U.S. states, you can actually have sex with a 16-year-old and it's legal. And so
not necessarily. Don't forget, there's a lot of states where it's it'll be 16, but it's within 4 years. That's how most of the states are.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, it's you can't be over 4 years older.
Are there states where you can have sex if you're 16? I believe where I grew up in Massachusetts, if you're 16, you're good to go. That's my understanding of the law.
I think you can get married to some 14-year-olds in some states, apparently. I don't know much about it.
The Romeo and Juliet laws, yeah.
So, my point is, there is a gap between our understanding.
Remember to subscribe, please. We're 70% of the daily goal. Thank you, guys.
Which seems to align more with terms and conditions of the various companies that host us, rather than our touch grass sense of morality in the real world. And I like to mix those two, and without actually doing anything too potentially horrible, bring attention to and start a conversation about one of these issues. So that would be my reason for it. It evokes the idea of,
when you subscribe, you get to hear Southern Dingo saying, I am a brown, savage, disgusting animal.
actually do it to make the point.
Thank you, Franklin, for the subscribe.
What if you and the 16-year-old really hit it off,
Yeah.
and you fall for each other,
Yeah.
and you want to continue on with the relationship?
Yeah.
This is weird.
And what?
This is weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I agree.
This is really weird.
So
Yeah. No, you guys are weird. Wait. What if we really hit it off? What about Shaylin?
Well, you know, the love was so deep that you thought, wow, forget that. You know, pasture's new.
I think, I'm not with Shaylin because I think she's the best person for me at all times. I think when you love somebody and you commit to them as strongly as I have to Shaylin, you know that there will be moments where you think that they're not the best person for you. It's not, you're not saying like, oh, I happen to have found the best person in 8 billion. You know? You're tied to that person and you love them for who they are. No matter how many 16-year-olds might come your way.
Good lord.
Seems good, 100. Seems good, 100.
But in a hypothetical where Shayla's not around, geez, I don't know. I think that might just be a age gap that is just too big. Now, in my own non-defense, I will say I said the same thing before I met Shaylin. I was like, I'm not dating anybody younger than 27. 27 is my limit. No, I will hook up with somebody 18 or over, but I'm not gonna enter into a relationship because it's too weird. There's too much of a power imbalance. We're in like different life stages with anyone who's younger than 27, and then I immediately.
Why'd you make the exception that hooking up is okay? It's like an 18-year-old or something. Just out of curiosity, like what was your reasoning behind that?
I'm not saying out of care of the 18-year-old. That's more for myself. Like I don't think it's going to be good for me to date or marry an 18-year-old. That just seems like self-sabotage.
Oh, so there was no concern for
Other people.
the other person?
No.
I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, typically when I would get into like a one-night stand, I'm not really worried about the emotional well-being of the other person.
That's the whole point. You're fucking.
I just want to put my dick in
them.
them. Like that's about as far as that goes.
Yeah, Dusty. Were you gonna
Brown,
say?
savage, disgusting animal.
So yeah, I was going to say it's kind of past the point now. I guess I can make 2 points.
Let's
First
rewind.
point. Okay, so first point I would say in regards to what you guys were saying, yeah, when you get into like a hookup with somebody, generally like neither party really cares about the emotional well-being of the other person, especially since it's going to be so temporary. The second thing I was going to say is that,
That's not true.
well, yeah, it's not true in every case. You're right about that. But I think in like a lot of cases it's true. You know, I think in a lot of cases you know you're not going to see the person again usually, right? But there are some cases, sure. And then the second point I was going to make is that for a while I used to think like maybe we should raise the age of consent to like 21. But then somebody brought up a really good point to me about that, saying that when you raise the age of consent to 21, you're kind of raising the age of the minority, right? So like so now a 21-year-old can like date a 13-year-old. And I don't know how I don't like that.
No, you can do. I think what they do in Massachusetts. I mean, if my memory serves, I think it's like 3 years if you're under 18. So it's not. They don't just do. You can't be 16 and 12. You know.
Okay, hold on. I'm still like I'm still like just stunned by what Star just said. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here like, wait, what?
Which part? The first one?
You're saying that people who like have a one-night stand normally don't care about the emotional well-being of the other person?
I think they don't care to the extent like that a friend would care, maybe. You know, like
Well, I think you're.
But
saying
how
that
do you have
they-
sex with someone then?
How
can-
It's just physical. Like, what do you mean?
But how do you have sex with someone then?
You
I've
seduce them and you.
Yeah, I've definitely had sex with people who I knew it was not in their best psychological or emotional interest to do so.
like we've all been fuck zoned.
Why?
So here's it. We've all been fuck zoned by somebody, right? Like we've been fuck zoned by a guy, right? Or
Yeah, but
do you-
that doesn't mean they didn't care about you.
Oh, I think it does.
I mean, that doesn't.
I think it
doesn't mean that
does.
they didn't. Oh.
Because like so when you're fuck zoned, it's like, oh, you're like interested in this guy, but he's like only interested in fucking you, right? That happens.
Yeah, it's like he's
a lot.
only showing up at like 1 a.m. Right, fucking you. Then
He's only
leaving.
calling you when he's high, you know.
Text you once every 3 weeks.
Oh, but no, that makes them a psychopath. No, that's a psychopath.
What? No,
Well,
it
then,
doesn't.
Then maybe
Well,
yeah,
we've
of
got
course
a lot
that
of
does.
our
if that makes a
definition
guy
of
a psychopath, that's a lot of people then, right?
That's too many people to call a
No.
psychopath.
I've never known anyone like that.
I feel like
That's
people just-
absolutely a psychopath. Yeah.
I think everybody here's been fuck
That's
zoned, right?
completely abnormal.
Like
Dan.
even girls do that to guys, you know? They fuck zone them.
Yeah,
Dan,
some
Dan.
people just want to have people bump their uglies, right? It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Dan, can you?
No, that's
It
not
hurts.
normal.
It hurts and it sucks, but I mean it happens, you know? So
No, it's not normal to use people for one's own benefit.
I've
I
had
think
Those
that's
are mutually
incredibly
use each
normal.
other.
People
I've
do
had
that
sex-
all the time in a non-sexual way too, right?
I've had sex in relationships.
That's usually like a part of the
even-
dark triad. That's like a part of the dark triad personality range. That's what they do.
I've had
Okay,
sex in
I've-
relationships where I knew that initiating sex with the other person was not in their best emotional or psychological interest at that time.
Why would you do that? I don't understand that.
'Cause
I would never do that to someone.
Well, I mean, yeah, I
I was
mean,
excited.
I don't know. When I was
What?
younger, I may have been more likely to do that, but now that I'm older, I wouldn't do that. But I mean,
When you
I
get
think,
even older, you'll start doing it again.
Oh god.
Chud,
Wait,
Chud, what
so
were you gonna say?
hold on, wait. So you're saying
Chud.
that you did something?
Yes, sorry.
What were you gonna say? You were gonna say something.
So have you ever
I was
had a
going to say
case?
this.
Here's
Stop
an
just
example.
keeping it. Get
Wait,
that
I
out.
want Chud to say.
Stop.
Aren't you-
He was gonna make a meta comment about
You're so cold and callous.
I was going to say what this dark triad shit. Like I've heard so much about it. It just sounds like a load of bullshit.
more pseudoscience, huh?
Uh,
It could be, it
No.
could be.
I mean, it's just the name is weird.
If I can have a chance to just explain, like, I think girls do this.
I genuinely cannot understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I
let me
literally
try
cannot
to
understand
let
this.
me try to explain it to you. Like, without the sex, let's take out the sex, right? We've had male friends who've been sexually interested in us and emotionally interested, romantically interested in us, while we haven't been, and we continue to be their friend, right? And we continue to benefit from that relationship, right?
Only if it's like you make sure, like, I don't know, like,
I think
that's
we're
not
in
okay to
denial.
do as long as you're not like leading them on.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I don't think it's right to do either, but I think especially when you're younger, you're kind of in denial, and the last thing you want to do is say, like, no to a guy or tell a guy to go away, right? It's a very painful process to do that. So a lot of the time, like...
It's selfish to not.
It is selfish. I agree with you.
Sorry, I just want to ask Dan, what's your opinion on this Dark Triad business?
Why would you ask Dan? Dan,
I want Stardust.
I'm
to
sorry.
finish-
Does
wait,
Dan
hold on.
does Dan have his training? Has
Stardust
Dan
is trying to lay out something for us, and
Has Dan
she's asking rhetorical yes or no questions. But then,
Have you?
Okay, listen.
Yeah, I'm in my
I want
program
Stardust
right now,
to explain
Dan.
this. Stardust, why don't you ask me
Program.
yes or no questions, and I'll
Yes,
go
Dan.
along with your train of thought.
Well,
instead of
I mean-
derailing.
You want to call them, Dan? Want their number? We'll give it to you.
I think she's like the janitor or something here. She keeps like trying to write on the fucking
okay.
boards about stuff, but like no one knows what the fuck she's saying.
What's happening?
Just talk, Stardust. Just go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's...
It's like Goodwill Hunting, except like you have no idea what you're talking about.
It's really to look. It's really easy to look up that research.
If
You
they
know?
keep
I know,
talking
but
while
it's
you're talking
hard.
about Stardust, I'll
I
just
know,
slowly lower their
it's hard,
volume.
but okay.
Just slowly make them quieter and quieter.
Okay, so look, when we're talking about relationships in which people use each other, I think it's actually much more common than people want to admit. There are plenty of times where, when I've been younger, where like I've known a guy has been romantically interested, and I'm too scared to like confront that with him and say, hey, like this is like I'm not interested in you like this, you know, like I can tell that you're interested in me, and I'm not interested in you like this, right? That's something like in youth we've all done, right? A lot of girls have done that. So just like that, if we-
Younger. But
Yeah.
you're supposed to learn.
yeah, you do learn.
To be
Well,
a better person.
Well,
I
Stardust
learned-
hasn't
Get
learned.
older.
Stardust didn't learn.
No, I did. I haven't-
No.
Okay.
I don't know if you did. Stardust, tell your truth. Keep going.
Okay, so anyways, that's what I'm trying to demonstrate with this. When I'm trying to explain to you, like I know it sounds incomprehensible to you, but I think guys, you know, and girls do the same thing with sex, right? Where they will continue to have sex, continue to hook up with somebody who they know has feelings for them, but you know, it's sex, like it feels good, you know, so. A lot of people just don't even broach it until it reaches that point where they have to, right? They don't even, you know, they should have cut it off way sooner, but they don't. So I think it's incredibly common, and I think, I mean, I personally I don't do that, but I have been in the situation where somebody's like been romantically interested when I was much younger, and I didn't know how to approach the subject with them. So I think it's very common. I don't think it's I don't think it's abnormal at all. Humans use each other all the time.
No, I
There's a
think
term
that's
for this
an
for guys,
incredibly
right?
cynical view of humans. I don't know. I don't agree. I think that's a very cynical view of people. I think
There's
most
like a
people
literal
care about
term.
others. I think most people care about others, and I think most people are very empathetic. And
I wish
wanna
I
do
was that.
the right thing.
I wish I was not cynical then, because I feel like that's very abnormal for people to actually genuinely care about each other. Yeah.
Isn't this just called like fuckboys? Like I feel like
Yes,
this is extremely common.
exactly.
Like
It's very
But there's
common, yeah.
well,
I mean, it's not even,
thing
it
is-
doesn't even have to be sexual, right? Again, it can be like, even in a working relationship, you think you're friends with somebody and they keep pushing more work onto you. And you're like, oh yeah, you know, like, yeah, you know, yeah, totally, I'll do that for you. And then they keep pushing more work on you and pushing more work on you. And then one day you're like, God damn it, I need to have a weekend off. This person keeps pushing their fucking work on me. So, yeah. So,
One time,
maybe
it
go
sounded
ahead.
really fucking specific. But, yeah.
I was dating this girl,
Yeah.
and I was really angry at her, because she wouldn't fucking listen to me. And I was yelling at her about that. And she said, well, she was like, can you think of any way that like you might be able to like express that or like get that frustration out? And I was like, for a second, I was like, it was like I was considering selling myself into sex slavery. I was like, yeah, what if every time I get mad, we just have sex? And like, I never have to talk about my feelings again.
Based.
That sounds pretty dark triad.
Yeah, I was teetering on the edge of like, it was like a deal.
Happiness.
It was like I was being, it was like I was gonna sell my soul. And I think I went for it for a second. I think I started to initiate, and then I was like, no, please don't make me do this. And I stopped, and I was like, no, I actually need you to listen. But for a second, and then so that was a time where she knew it would be harmful for me, for sure. And I knew it would be harmful for me, and I almost did it.
I don't know if. So I have like a story. I don't know if this would count, and I don't know who would be. So I was dating this one guy, and we've been dating for like years. We were breaking up, and we were both like crying our eyes out. And then I figured like because this is such a painful experience, we're both crying our eyes out. Like, and of course I was much younger. I figured, what? I have to tell the story. I have to finish it now. So we're both crying our eyes out, and I figured this is so uncomfortable, this is so horrible. But you know, it's just what it is. And then I figured like I'd give him a hand job, like a breakup hand job. It was like, well, while we're both crying, I just decided then, like, you know what? I'm just gonna give him a hand job, and so he did stop crying. He did stop crying, and it's not like he wasn't against it. You know, he's down for it. So I gave him a hand job. I don't know why I chose to do that, but and then we went to sleep, and then I left, and the next morning, then that was it. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of like using somebody, right? Like this is very uncomfortable, and this is very uncomfortable, and I'm gonna give him a hand job so like we both can stop crying, and then.
Oh my
I can
fucking
get
God.
out of this situation.
It's just trick. Look, let's call it what it is, okay? Let's call it what it is. Let's be real about this, okay? The reality is, it's a very common meme of like, oh yeah, men fucking a woman, da da da. Yeah, of course that happens, right? But there's absolutely cases where women emotionally use men to their advantage, and that isn't seen in the same way. Let's be real. Women get a free pass in that situation.
I think if I told a story,
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared right now. I think I should leave the panel. I don't understand at all.
Was that really that bad?
I will kick you for saying that.
I mean, I think it's manipulative to do that. I don't think you're a bad person. It's just like
It is manipulative.
I think I was like,
imagine if I
bad,
told
but
a
it's
story.
shit behavior.
Imagine
I
if
was
told
like
a story and I was
24 or
like- I was like,
25 when
oh,
that
shut up,
happened.
Stardust.
Sorry.
Imagine if I told a story and I was like, my girlfriend and I were crying because I was breaking up with her, so I started fingering her.
like these
You'd all
aren't
be
like
horrified.
this isn't like
Let the men
things
speak
that
their truth for
should be,
once,
like,
please.
You'd be
should be like
horrified.
joked about though. Like this is stuff that's like really manipulative and like I don't know.
These aren't. I feel like. Try to kind of
I
touch
feel
on that. So
horrible now.
women are
I'm
encouraged.
sorry, I don't mean to say that.
No, it's okay. So women are encouraged to speak their truth, right? To talk about consent and boundaries and all these things. But when men talk about their experiences, suddenly it's like it's uncomfortable, and we shouldn't get into this, and we shouldn't joke about this. Like these are experiences that we've really had.
Mr. Girl is literally saying that he did something, like he literally had sex with someone where he knew that it would be harmful to them, but he didn't fucking care. He just did it. Like that's not something like I don't understand this. That does not compute in my world.
It's because men don't get a chance to speak about this stuff.
No,
'cause the
it's
moment
not
we
men.
do-
No, that's offensive to men. Most men are nothing like that. Thank God they're not.
think most
I
young guys
maybe
are
have
like
a
that,
very,
for sure.
very
Most young women are
different
like that
view.
too. I feel like lots of young women out there
Most
have
men
been
are
aware.
decent human
I've been
beings.
aware I think you can be a decent human being and do selfish shit sometimes. Okay, like I think lots of women out there have known that a guy's really into them romantically, but they just want his penis, so they jumped on his penis now and then and let him on, and that's a shitty thing to do, right? But I don't think that makes them psychopaths.
No, I mean, but if they're regularly hooking up with people and not really caring about them and just kind of using them, that's pretty psychopathic. Yeah.
Anna.
Wait, that's not psychopathic, is it?
Yes, it is. That's
I
not
don't
normal.
think it is. I feel like
It's
lots of
definitely
people go through
abuse,
like a.
for sure.
Anna.
Goddamn.
Dan, your existence is abuse. Shut up.
Oh, getting a little frisky over there.
Anna.
Okay, so I just want to clarify. It was completely consensual. You know, it was just
Yeah,
very
Anna.
awkward.
What?
I feel you chose the worst. Nobody likes hand jobs. Okay, why would you choose
I know,
that?
I know. Nobody. I never used that. I would never do that anyway. In any other situation, why the fuck
Yeah.
would I give a hand job? A dude can give him
Fucking terrible.
give himself a hand job way better than I could give him a hand job. You know, like why would I think that I can jerk him off better than he can jerk himself off? But no, I
You
figured.
gave
I
him a
don't know.
reason to break up the relationship with like as your last act. Like it, so maybe it kind of worked.
Anna,
Yeah.
you know the scariest thing about me?
What?
I'm normal.
No, I don't think so.
You know, I think it's nice.
I think you probably would score.
You know, I'm picking up
Dark
on
Triad.
something.
Mr.
No,
Girls Dark
I'm-
Triad.
You know, there's some people I know that Anna doesn't like. I'm one of them. You're one of them. I'm trying to put together two and two, like what similarities there are, and I'm
Can I?
getting it.
So
The Jewish thing. She's an anti-Semite, like
Ryan.
through and through. To your
You're
core.
Jewish?
Oh,
You're
we're
Jewish?
acting all
No, no,
surprised
no.
now
Oh,
here.
no,
I bet
no.
there's a
Oh,
fucking
no.
swastika behind you there, behind all those pink curtains.
I don't think that's fair.
I do have
That
a lot
just
of
sound like
white
an accusation.
furniture. It is.
Anna, what do you
I
think about the
have a lot of white
Holocaust?
furniture.
Do you think it happened?
Oh my god. John!
That's a non-answer.
Evasion. Evasion.
Checking.
Oh my
yeah,
god,
okay.
of course it happened! And Holocaust denial is terrible.
Okay.
Because you think it's a good thing it happened?
No!
okay, shut up. Okay, sorry. So
It's terrible to not celebrate the holiday.
so what?
That's
um,
what-
oh,
Back to you and fucking hand jobs again. I swear. to
No, no,
fucking
no,
God,
no, no, no,
Stardust.
no, no. I just
Please.
want to say, okay, I think it's very nice that Anna thinks that most guys are not like that, or that most people are not like that. But I think that's going to actually lead you to get taken advantage of. I'm concerned. I think you should be very cautious with people. I think most people are not good people.
including you.
I've been told that. People tell me that a lot.
But yeah, I do think
don't
that
agree with
giving,
that
I think giving somebody a hand job while they're crying, especially if you're breaking up with them.
We're both we were both breaking up. It was a mutual breakup.
Okay, so you broke up with them.
No. No. Both of us were breaking up. We both knew it wasn't
Okay,
working
I
out.
still. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
sorry,
I
Stardust. I
don't-
didn't mean to. I
know
don't
if
think
that's
that you're like a
right.
bad person or anything like that. Sorry, I don't.
I do.
I do too.
Sometimes,
For
no,
sure.
sometimes we do things that are just a little rapey, and that's okay.
See,
Yeah,
this is
no,
why I don't
he
like you.
Here we
He
go.
This is why I
consented.
don't like
He
you.
consented.
Wait, I want to tell you. I want
Brilliant.
to tell you guys a story.
consented.
I want to tell you a story.
Allegedly, he was emotionally compromised. I don't know if he can consent in that state. I'm just saying.
I was training a 80-year-old woman. She's been my client for maybe like a
Did
year.
you rape an 80-year-old woman? Is that where the story's going?
Don't try to skip to the end.
Client?
Don't try to guess the end.
And both ends of the candle, huh?
Yeah, so I was a personal trainer. I was working at LA Fitness. My wife had left me, and I was training this woman throughout this whole process. So I was, I was a complete mess, and I didn't have very good boundaries. I would just kind of like talk about whatever. I was like crying at work all day, and this woman said, "Listen, Max, I want to tell you something. If you ever hit her, or you got angry with her and you would shake her, or push her, or shove her, throw her around a little, don't you ever feel bad about that, because that's hot. That's passion, baby."
Wow.
And then you raped her.
citizen of Azor.
The closest I came to raping her, we were on a walk, and she was asking me about why I didn't get my cat spayed. And I said, I found it. I said, I think it's immoral. And she said, yeah, but they'll be so much happier. And I said, well, if somebody cut my balls off, I would probably be a lot happier too, but that doesn't mean I want to do it. And she said, don't ever tell that to anyone.
This is a Jewish grandmother?
Yeah.
You do a pretty good Jewish grandmother
Yeah,
voice.
you do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to hear more about Mr. Girl being Dark Triad.
I think the Dark Triad thing gets really a bad rap. Every online test I've ever taken for the Dark Triad shit, it always gives me like 90% Machiavellian. And I looked this up, right? Like, what the fuck is this thing it's giving me? And it just seems like long-term planning skills. Like, I don't know. Just
Well,
calling
it's
someone Dark
also-
Triad is like.
It's
I
also
feel like
you usually people who score high in Machiavellianism also score very low in neuroticism, like extremely low in neuroticism on the Big Five personality. The Big Five.
Sorry, can I?
personality thing.
How high do you think someone like Dan would score on like a Machiavellian test?
I can't tell because half the time I can't tell if he's playing a character or not. I think he's pretty. I think he's
very
pretty
deceptive. Is that a
sadistic.
comment on him being Jewish? Because he's
I think-
deceptive or something?
Oh,
No,
Jesus, child.
I think that he's pretty sadistic though. Like he seems to like engage in a lot of Schadenfreude, which is a Dark Triad thing. Yeah.
I did have that in my Twitter profile for a while. Schadenfreude, enthusiast.
Yeah.
Is being low like neuroticism a bad thing? I feel like that's pretty good.
So very significantly low neuroticism is technically like it's considered like a psychopathic thing, like a psychopathic
rude.
trait.
All comes down to psychopathic.
Because it's like it's basically having no emotions. You don't really have many emotions. You're very blunted, emotionally blunted. It's called shallow affect. The psych term is. Yeah. One might also describe this as being cold and callous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I will just say I wasn't cold when that was happening. I was still crying when it happened. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just saying.
It's dark.
I don't know. I think there's been times in my life, kind of related to this doing rapey things thing, where I have been very cold and callous. I guess. I guess if we're all telling stories, this is kind of like about what women do too, because I think this fucking drives me insane. Women do this shit. I was in my fuckboy stage, right? And it was after a major relationship broke up, and I met some girl. We arranged to meet up for some dinner, whatever the fuck. I don't want to do dinner at all. Fuck that, right? So I brushed that off. Told her like, hey, why don't we just meet at the hotel and we can watch Netflix or something. Or just meet at a hotel between our two homes, and it'll be fine. She got there like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I told her that some shit came up at work. Nothing came up at work. I just didn't want to talk to her all day, right? So I pushed it off until like 11 o'clock at night. Got there at 11. She was still there, watching Family Guy with all this food. And I spoke to her for like 20 minutes, and she was like attractive, but I just wasn't her personality was shit. I'd spoken to her too much, and I wasn't that interested in fucking her, right? So I decided, okay, I'm gonna go on for like another 30 minutes. We'll chit chat. She's talking too much, and then I'm gonna say I feel sick and I'm gonna leave, right? But she made this comment like, oh well, just so you know, I'm not gonna sleep with you tonight. And when she said that, right, and while going on about how she's a virgin and shit, which obviously bullshit, I was like flipped a switch, right? The competitive thing flipped in my head, and I was like, I have to have sex with her now. Like it has to happen. So like